So it's been a couple of days and it seems as if the meta has kind of settled down inside Warzone Season 4 after the Reloaded update. And in this video, we're going to be going over what are the 10 best loadouts to be using after this new update. If you do enjoy this style of content, don't forget to subscribe as we try to reach our goal of 50k. Click that link and subscribe to our second channel, and let's get straight into this. So not only have we made multiple videos going over the stats for pretty much every single gun when it comes to TTK, which you could check out at the end of this video, but we've also taken some of our inspiration from the Warzone ranked website, which goes over what are the most picked guns inside Warzone right now. And as you can see here, we've got the NZ41 still at the top, BLIXEN, Marco 5, Kilo, KGM40, Cooper Carbine, MP40, M13, ARMAGUERRA, STG, HDR, M4, Carton 80k for Modern Warfare, and so on. Obviously, this is going to show you the pick ratio as well as which gun gives you the best KD. So what we're going to do now is actually go through each of the loadouts, and I'm just going to explain why I've put certain guns together. We don't really need to go over the builds too much because they don't really change too often, and I don't want to waste too much time just going over things you already know. So first of all, we do have the C58 with the Mac 10. Now when it comes to the Mac 10, first of all, you can see the build on screen, but overall it is a good close to medium range gun inside Warzone now. It's probably one of the only few 5 attachment SMGs that are pretty viable, along with the Modern Warfare MP5. And the Cold War MP5 is pretty solid as well. So it just kind of come down to personal preference, but I do think the Mac 10 is not a bad SMG at all. And it just kind of goes in with the theme of this loadout overall being a Black Ops based loadout overall. And the C58 is pretty solid too. Now the C58 is basically what the AMAX should be. Now, even though the AMAX got a bit of a buff, it's still really not that powerful inside Warzone. And everyone's so used to these low recoil guns. The C58 definitely has less recoil than the AMAX as well, so it's definitely going to be a solid choice. At classes 8 and 9, we have our tempered / restock / ghost class, and you can choose whatever secondary perk you want here. And we've got 2 solid secondary non-overkill weapons that you can pair. But I do want to actually talk about some of these guns that are the primary weapon as well, and you can mix and match this to whatever primary weapon you'd like instead. But overall, the Kilo got a huge buff, and as you've seen earlier on from the pick ratio, it's a very highly picked weapon. That's because it's super low recoil, and now it's very competitive with the TTKs as well, because they took away that 3rd damage drop off. So overall, the Kilo is going to be a very solid option inside Warzone right now. And something that I do think is actually really good with this gun as well is that it's actually got a 100 round mag option. So even though it doesn't do like a ton of damage, you can actually use this extremely well with the 100 round mags. Even though it does slow down your movement a bit, it's actually still a solid option. But overall, the main build that everyone probably will use for the most part is the 60 round mags. And obviously everyone knows the kind of main build for this weapon. Then the secondary is going to be the AMP. It's probably the best full auto secondary gun in the game right now, just because its movement's solid. You get a relatively decent TTK, but for the most part, you're always going to want to use a secondary SMG because the SMGs are just way too good right now. Like I said, at number 8 is very similar, but we've got the M13, which I do think is still a little bit better than the Kilo in my opinion. It's just a bit less recoil and overall for the most part easier to manage, and the TTKs are slightly better as well. And then what you do want to use with that is actually the Akimbo top break pistols with a shot shell attachment on there. It's basically the new snake shot pistols, and they do actually have a very competitive time to kill if you're up close, like super up close for that matter. Now, if you are struggling and you don't really want a shotgun, then you can use the Dynamite pistols. They're also a really good option as well, even though they did get a bit of a nerf. But overall, definitely 2 solid classes here when it comes to tempered or restocked. At number 7, we have a bit of a boring class, and to be fair, this actually could be like the main meta class in this game. But to be honest, just for the sake of mixing things up, I didn't really want to put this too high up on the list, and it's still a very, very powerful loadout in this game. Of course, we've got the NZ41. A couple of changes were made to the build, so you're using the Strife Angled, you're using the hatch grip instead, but overall, it's still a low recoil gun that's very easy to use. A lot of you will can still continue to use this gun because it's been meta for so long, and it's still a meta gun in my opinion. Obviously, that's why it's in this top 10 list in the first place. But overall, it's definitely a gun that you should still be using. And then we're pairing it with the JAK-12, which actually has the fastest TTK at close range compared to any SMG or shotgun at 200 milliseconds, which makes this gun absolutely ridiculous right now. The only issue is the movement's a bit too slow on the JAK-12, and I've noticed that when using it. So maybe that's probably the reason why a lot of people aren't actually picking this gun, but for the most part, it's actually got a super insane TTK. So at number 6, we have our same old, boring, reliable class that has been boring and reliable since the start of Vanguard. And that is the STG with the MP40. Now, the builds did change a little bit, and we'll go over that just now. So with the STG, you want to use the strife angle grip instead of the hand stop grip. And that's just because the side-to-side recoil got nerfed a little with a couple of the recent updates. The rest of the build stays pretty much identical. Nothing really changes here with this gun. And then we've got the MP40, and again, not really much changes with this. The main things that you do want to change is use the short barrel instead of the Krosnick, and then use the underbarrel for the skeletal, polymer grip, steady. You could use perfectionist if you need the recoil control, and then the Krosnick folding stock, and everything else kind of stays the same for the most part. You could change hollow point for lengthened if you really want to. At 4 and 5, we have our sniper classes, and you can mix and match the sniper supports as and when you please. But we're starting off with the Volk and the ZRG. Now, when it comes to the ZRG, it's a very solid sniper. It's one of the few snipers in the game that have a one-shot headshot out to infinity range. A lot of people are picking this over the HDR. I'm not quite sure why, because I do think the HDR is a little bit better in my opinion. But overall, people are still picking the ZRG sniper. It's still a solid gun. If you want some more aggressive sniper options, which we don't have on this list, then you can check out our sniper video, which I'll leave at the end of this one. But for the most part, the one-shot headshot snipers are going to be the main pick for most people. Then when it comes to the sniper support Volk build, this is the build you want to use. Now, I actually got the build wrong in our previous video when it comes to sniper supports. The only thing that I got wrong there was the magazine, because the 45 round mags are definitely the best now. They actually give you better TTKs, and they give you better movement speed, so overall just better as a sniper support. So you definitely want to go for the Grenko 45 round mags. Everything else is pretty much the same as the previous build I've been over already. I've used Fleet here, but you can go for Perfectionist or Steady or Gung Ho. All are really got good options here as well. If you're struggling with the recoil, Hatch Grip is going to be the better option for the Volk in my opinion. And then we've got the rest of the build, which stays the same. At number 4, we have our other sniper class, and we have probably what I believe to be the best sniper in the game right now, and that is the 3-line rifle. Now, this build is exactly what I've said in previous videos, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but the 3-line rifle is definitely the best sniper. It's got the best bullet velocity. It's got, obviously, that one-shot headshot out to infinity range, and overall, it's just very easy to use. The ADS time is relatively decent as well with this specific build. So overall, best sniper in the game in my opinion right now, and the Marco 5 is definitely a very solid sniper support. I would choose this over the Volk in my opinion for a sniper support, just because the movement's a little better. But it's super low recoil, very easy to use, and even though the nerf to TTK, it's still competitive as a sniper support because the range is very good on it, so definitely a solid gun. The only thing I've changed really is using the hand stop underbarrel instead of the skeletal, because I would use the skeletal for the better movement speed if it was just an SMG, but we're using it in those longer ranges. We need the extra control in the weapon, so that's why we use the hand stop. The rest is pretty much the same as a meta build. At classes 3, 2, and 1, we have obviously the most broken guns. So let's start off with number 3. Is the UGM-B with the VLK Rogue Shotgun. Now, right now, the VLK Rogue Shotgun is absolutely broken. It's actually got some of the insanely fastest TTKs. It's got super good movement for a Modern Warfare gun. And overall, you can see a lot of people running around with this gun, and it will definitely get nerfed, let's be honest. But this is the build you want to be using if you do want to go ahead and use this shotgun build. It is basically the meta build for this gun, so if you do want to run around with the most broken close range gun in the game, then this is it. If you want to run around with the most broken long range gun in the game, then the UGM-B is it as well. The only issue with the UGM-B is obviously it's going to move a little slower than some of the assault rifle options that we do have in this game, and therefore it might not be all that popular compared to assault rifles that we have higher up on this list. But other than that, the build has stayed the same. We haven't really changed anything here. You can swap out the 75 round British mags for the 50 round British mags if you really want to, or you could choose a different mag option because the UGM-B has pretty low recoil for the most part. But personally, I think the 75 round British mags is the best balance. At number 2, we have the KGM-40 as well as the BLIXEN. Now, the BLIXEN did get a nerf, and even though it got nerfed, it's still a very solid SMG. I've went over all the TTK numbers, and it still comes out higher than most of the SMGs in this game. So the build doesn't really change. The only thing I would definitely recommend is the skeletal underbarrel because the movement speed was nerfed on this gun, so you do want to bring that back up. But other than that, Everything else pretty much stays the same, so it is a little bit harder to control than before, but for the most part it's still a very good SMG. Then you do want to pair it with the KGM-40, which is just a super low recoil gun, and I think that's why it's really popular right now whilst everyone's trying to find their feet in this meta. But it is definitely a very good gun. It's got the highest win ratio out of any of the guns in this game, as you've seen from the start of this video. And you actually want to change the barrel, so the shrouded barrel actually got nerfed, so it's a lot more horizontal recoil, so you actually want to go for the 700mm instead. Now it will give you a little bit less bullet velocity, but it's only by 100 meters per second, which is not too much on the grand scheme of things, and then everything else stays exactly the same. Last but not least, at number 1, we do have the Cooper Carbine as well as the ARMAGUERRA. Now, both of these guns are actually very good, but also extremely versatile at the exact same time. Now, we'll first of all talk about the ARMAGUERRA, which is my favorite SMG in the game, and it's been my favorite since it got added into the game, even though the BLIXEN and the Marco 5 were all kind of taking the meta, but I still really preferred using this gun. Now, you can build the ARMAGUERRA in a couple of different ways, in 3 ways to be precise. The SMG build, which is what you're seeing on screen just now. You can also build it for like a max movement speed build, so it has the fastest movement in the game. Now, there is builds of different creators making videos on that, so I don't want to go over the build for that. And then you can also use this as a sniper support as well, so if you do want to check out the sniper support build, I'll leave that like at the end of this video as well. But this gun can be used in various different ways. The SMG build's great. And again, we're talking about another extremely versatile gun, which is the Cooper Carbine. This gun makes a really good sniper support gun if you want to change the build on it. Obviously the movement speed's pretty decent, but for the most part it's going to make the best long range rifle in the game at the moment. And the build didn't really change, so the build is what you see on screen just now. But this gun is super easy to use, even though it got nerfed to recoil. It had no recoil before, now it's got just like a little bit of recoil, but overall it's just going to be super easy to use, especially at those long ranges. And this is definitely the gun you want, especially on Caldera. So there we have it. Those are 10 of the best loadouts inside Warzone right now. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe as we try to reach our goal of 50k. Click that link and subscribe to our second channel. Thank you very much for watching.